What is a silly lie you once told, and you are in so deep that you have no other choice but to uphold it? Last year on the first day of a month-long rotation in medical school, I was telling a story and accidentally referred to my dog as my daughter. Quickly did the mental evaluation of how embarrassing it would be to correct myself versus rolling with it and just decided to go with it and pretended I had a kid for the rest of the month. I didn't purposely bring it up or anything, but if someone mentioned it, it was October, was asked about taking my kid trick or treating etc., I would just vaguely agree and not elaborate on anything. Long ago, Discovery Channel had a special on prehistoric pigs. It aired on the 1st of April, and being a 12-year-old who was smart and knew how to think critically, that is didn't think to look into the special and find out if it was the real deal as I thought I knew everything. I assumed it was a joke show put on by the channel. A few months later, they re-aired the special. My dad happened to be watching it and, nerd that he is, called me in excitedly to show me this prehistoric pig programming. I scoffed and said, "Dad, it's fake. It was made for April Fools and now they're showing it again." "Oh," he said, and laughed and laughed. Here's the thing, I was wrong. The show was about a real animal that really existed. I discovered this a few years later on the internet. But by now my dad had started using these fake giant pigs as a conversation starter. Not only that, but he's flipped the story a bit. Now he's the one who saw the show on the 1st of April. And, 23 years later, the man still brings up this freaking show. Because he thinks the idea of what he calls dinosaur pigs is hilarious. I thought of telling him, but it's too deep now. I go to my grave with this one. Not mine, but my grandparents both have birthdays only a few days apart, the 3rd of June and the 6th of June, with my grandma's birthday coming first. When they were in their first few months of dating, my grandpa told her they were going to celebrate on the 3rd of June for the both of us. This being their first time really discussing birthdays, my grandma took this to mean that they were both born on the same day. She played it up, "Oh, we're soulmates, look at us, born on the same day of the same year." That kind of thing. My grandpa didn't realize his mistake until she told him happy birthday on the 3rd of June, but she was so happy about it he couldn't bring himself to correct her and was just like, "Yeah, cool, we're born on the same day." This went on for years, with him actively hiding his birthday mail from her and pretending that his folks were calling him on the 3rd of June rather than the 6th of June. She didn't find out until over a decade later, when they were married, and she was mortified that for the last 12 years she'd been celebrating his birthday on the wrong day. Not really a lie, but I can't believe he let it run for that long. Mayo. That I could play the piano. I never thought it would come up and that I was safe with my lie. It did come up, more often than I thought it would. I had to make up an excuse to not play, and people started to think I was lying about know how to play. Eventually I took some lessons so that way if it came up again I could actually play something and not look like I'm completely full of crap. It paid off, and after I moved from that area I never told anyone I could play piano again. I moved to a new city when I was in 6th grade and on the same day I started, 2 other boys started and they both knew how to skateboard, so I lied and said I did too. Then for months I lied about being able to skateboard to them and other kids at the school, and I never came clean because I didn't want anyone to call me a poser. So I bought skater boy clothes and a skateboard and learned how to skateboard because I lied about knowing how to skateboard. Still skating since then. I'm 28 now. There is a guy who I used to work with at a corporate chain steakhouse while I was going to college that had bit of a whopper. We stayed up all night partying and he didn't wake up in time for his opening shift the following day. When he finally got up, he was 2 hours late and had a grip of missed calls. He was about a month away from graduating and had worked this same job all through college, so he was worried that he was going to get fired and wouldn't be able to use the job reference. So his solution was to call in and tell the boss he had been in a car accident on his way to work. Now this temporarily solved the problem, but to really sell the story he ended up hiding his truck in a friend's garage and working his next 4 weeks of serving shifts with a fake full-arm cast. Brandon, you're a freaking legend. Not me, but my hairdresser told me this a few months ago and I couldn't stop laughing. A few years ago, He and his girlfriend, at the time, went on vacation to a resort somewhere in Spain. On the first day of arriving, they got talking to another couple they met in the hotel, and just for a joke he pretended to be American by putting on an accent. He's English. He said he wasn't even sure why he did it. He was just goofing around and he thought he'd never see these people again, so it was just a throwaway thing. However, they ended up being pretty good friends with this couple and saw quite a lot of them over the course of the vacation. I guess it would have been too embarrassing weird to come clean and tell them the truth, so he just had to go with it and put on an American accent every time he saw them. For a week. In addition to this, he was also going through some problems in his relationship. Can't think why. So basically spent the whole trip either arguing with his girlfriend or having to get in character and pretend to be American for no other reason than his own stupidity. He said it was the worst vacation of his life and was more stressful than being home at work. I once got sort of unapproved access to a VIP area at a venue, and the person who got me in probably would have gotten in trouble if it was found out that they did. A fairly major musician was playing. This was the lounge area where their family and friends were watching the show, only about 20 people. When people asked why I was there, I said I was related to the owner of the venue. Figured this was boring enough but would stop the questions. Instead, this really nice group of people all started complimenting me on the venue and talking to me more about it and my family. They were really awesome people and we chatted the rest of the evening. They invited me to spend the upcoming holiday weekend at their beach house with the band. I did. No one ever found out I have no connection to the venue and don't even know who actually owns it. There was a guy in high school. We had classes together starting in 9th grade, but he went to my school since kindergarten, but we didn't have a class together until we were teenagers. For some reason, I thought his name was Richard. First day of class he comes up and sits in front of me and I just smile and say, "Hey Richard." And that's that. Every time we worked on a project together. Every time I passed him in the halls. For years, I'd called him Richard. We had a project together in a class and it was a week of hanging out together at the library and each other's houses. I called him Richard in front of his mom. I introduced him to my parents as Richard. He always responded to Richard, always got my name right. Never tried to correct me. I wrote our names on the project and handed it in. I got asked by the teacher the next day, "Who is Richard? Wasn't your partner Charlie?" For nearly 10 years I'd been calling this boy named Charlie, Richard. And no one ever corrected me, not even his mom. I asked him after class why he never corrected me and he just said it was weird and he didn't know how to handle it. And as time passed he figured it was too late now. When I was 10, another kid on my school bus asked me if I played World of Warcraft. I lied and said yes. I spent the entire rest of the year, before and after school on the bus, talking about a game I never played in my life. One day, I was invited over when he made me log in. I entered some account and claimed I forgot my password, spending the next 30 minutes trying to debug by resetting a password to an account that doesn't exist. Haha. Oh my god. What was I doing? Not me, but a girl I became friends with on a study abroad trip to Japan got asked by her host family where she was from. They misused English and it came out something like, "Where did you leave from?" instead. Being from the middle of New Jersey somewhere, she answered Newark, which was where she had departed from. Of course these nice people from rural Japan, having never heard of Newark, heard New York. They were so excited that they had gotten a host kid from New York City that they promptly told all their friends all the time over the course of the month we were there. She never had the heart to correct them, so for that month she was a proud New Yorker. When I was in middle school I was staying the night at a friend's house. They offered to let me use their toothpaste. It was a mint one, and I hated it because it kind of burned to me. I didn't want to tell them that I still used the kids' fruit flavored toothpaste, so I lied and said I was allergic to mint. Then the next day I went to chew some mint gum and my friend was like, "I thought you were allergic." My dumbass 12-year-old self pretended to have my tongue swell up and faked a lisp and stuff. Years later I'm in college now and all my friends still believe I'm allergic to mint. They stopped me from buying mint gum and eating mint chocolate. I now use mint toothpaste and enjoy it more than the children's one, but whenever they're over I have a bottle of the fruity one just in case. I don't know why I didn't just tell anyone the truth. I feel like I'm in too deep now, Mayo. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos and don't forget to like the video if you've enjoyed it.